The iPad has a big problem. An issue so astronomical, so apparent, that it's causing a crisis. That's absolutely, I'm gonna hear an identity crisis. That's right, the iPad may as well start tattooing itself and carrying around a Polaroid telling it not to trust Teddy's lies, because the iPad doesn't know who it is. Is the iPad designed to poison the attention span of babies? Or is it designed to obstruct your view at a concert? Is it a tool for just watching Netflix? Or is it this beautiful creative asset? Well, in this video, I'm not going to be answering that question. Instead, I'm going to be talking about my experience using the iPad and the apps that I use on a regular basis that make the iPad worth it to me. And in doing so, I hope to land on something that might resemble a reason for the iPad's existence. The types of apps that I use can be broken down into two categories: entertainment and utility. Entertainment is pretty straightforward. It's Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube, and more recently, Dropout, which I've been loving. Nothing entirely innovative, so let's move on to utility. I've used Resolve as my main editor for years now, and in fact, I've no doubt that I'm absolutely editing this video on Resolve right now. I bought the iPad version of Resolve after getting this M2 iPad Air, which is currently doubling as my script, and what the heck? This is just fully Resolve, but on an iPad. Like, there are very few differences between this version of Resolve that runs on an iPad versus the version of Resolve that I use on my computer. It has all the same effects, all the same abilities, all the same pages if you set up keyboard shortcuts. It's genuinely nuts to me that this isn't some neutered mobile-friendly version of Resolve. It's free to download, and then it's $100 to get the studio version. Plus, I've found that the combination of using the Apple Pencil and a Bluetooth keyboard to be just chef's kiss. Okay, so this is a cool app if you're using DaVinci Resolve Studio. You can get a free app called DaVinci Monitor that lets you... Oh my god. Oh, and it's a nightmare. But it works on an iPad, and it works on... Oh my god, this is so chaotic. Jesus Christ. Oh, jeez. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's a free app. It lets you... turns your computer... One of my favorite features about the iPad, and the reason I wanted the 13-inch bigger screen version, is for Sidecar. But the thing about Sidecar is that it only works with devices that share the same Apple ID. So unless I want to log into my iPad with my work credentials, which I absolutely don't, then there's no way of getting it to work. And that is where Yam Display comes in. Convenient. I know, it's like I wrote it. The full version only costs around $13, and it lets you connect either wirelessly or via a USB-C cable to your computer. And from my experience using it, it's pretty much the same as Sidecar. It does reduce the resolution a little bit, and the latency is a little higher when you are working over the wireless mode, but other than that, I can extend my display from my work computer to my iPad without having to change any sort of logins, and that is... it's beautiful. Lightroom is the reason I bought an iPad in the first place a few years ago, and I will challenge anyone who says that using Lightroom on a desktop is better than an iPad. And that includes those of you who use Lightroom Classic. I'm not afraid of you. Yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like something went out, and it startled me a little bit. To me, the iPad is the go-to device for photo editing. Given most of the photo editing I do is for personal photos and not professional work, but still, to me, editing photos on an iPad just feels so natural, just feels so good, There's no reason why I would want to use the desktop version. That's not true. I can think of some reasons. I just don't like using the desktop version as much as I like using the iPad version. And guess what? This is my video, so it's my opinion. I can say whatever I want. In fact,
I respect the opinion of other creative professionals. The tools you use are valid as long as they accomplish what you need them to do. The opinions of others don't matter. Enjoy your tools.
I want to preface this by saying I'm not a musician. At all. In fact, I'm barely a hobbyist. I like the act of creating music. I have a fun time doing it, and that's why Logic on the iPad was so appealing to me in the first place. And it was one of the ways I convinced myself to get a 13-inch iPad, which is stupid. I know. It's really dumb. Don't do that. I wanted a creative outlet outside of just photography or content creation. It's something that I wasn't going to feel compelled to post to social media because inherently I am embarrassed at the idea of sharing music online. But the iPad version of Logic also has this neat feature called session players, that it's kind of like an AI-powered bandmate or instrument which you can customize to get very quick and quite intricate drum patterns or bass licks or little synth things. And what I find interesting about this is that old Robin, well, young Robin, I'm technically old Robin, young Robin would have stuck their nose up at the concept of using these like templated drum patterns and stuff, despite the fact I was never good at programming drums. You know, you never hear of a musician using these kind of things in real songs. But here's the thing. I no longer want to make real songs. I want to make silly little songs that I can play in the background while I monologue and look outside of a window. Life's a funny thing. You go through all these ups, these downs, everything in between, and what are you left with? The things you own will turn to dust, the things you remember will fade and go out like a street lamp at dawn. What's it all for? I don't know. I like using my iPad, that's all I know. And despite the fact that I did just say I'd be too embarrassed to share music online, I am gonna share some of the music I've made so far. As you can tell, I didn't buy an iPad for any one reason. I bought it because it's capable of being so many different things, and I think that, right there, is where its strength lies. I don't want an iPad that can run macOS. I definitely do want more features that are exclusive to the iPad, that play to its strengths, but in its current form, the iPad is pretty great. It allows me to have all these different creative outlets in a place that doesn't feel serious. A place where I can focus more on playing than creating. You see, my Mac, I use that for creating. I use it for work. I use it for productivity. And my iPad, well, I use my iPad to just fuck around. And the fact that I can also use it for work, well, it's just a bonus. I have a bunch more apps in mind for a part 2, so if you want to see that, do let me know. And also, if you have any interesting apps that you think I would like, then do suggest them, because I do love trying out new apps on the iPad specifically. And I always love to hear your ideas and your thoughts. So my name is Robin, and I'll see you in the next one.